Okay guys, welcome to DTK Custom Knives. In this video you're going to see parts of a slip joint which I built. I didn't film the whole video, I only filmed parts of it because it's too long. However, if you'd like to see a complete build, then just say in the notifications and I'll see if I can video catalogue my next build. So this video is just really to tell you about the parts which I made the knife out of. So firstly, we started with a 1.5mm brass plate. That's for the liners. Then we've got a 3mm brass pin for the pivots and also for the peening. Brass rod, which I made the bolsters and the pommel out of, which I had to machine down and drill the holes in for the pins. And also we had the deer antler, which we had to cut, flatten and surface grind the bottom of it to get it really flat. And finally the steel, which was SF100 stainless steel. So we had to make the blade and the spring out of this. This started off at 3mm, which was surface ground to around about 2.5. Yeah, so those are the parts which we made the knife out of. I hope you enjoy it. If you like what you see, then hit the subscribe button and you'll get notifications on the next video. Hope you enjoyed the video. Just a rough grind at the moment. It's looking good. Okay, so there's the primary bevels done, and now I'm going to work up the grips. So what I'm doing here is peening over the brass pin. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. And I've already done this end. Pins round about there somewhere. It's the first time I've done a bit of peening. On this first slip joint, and you can see the bit in the handle obviously this handle's drilled at 90 degrees, but the handle goes round, so you're going to have a gap there. Not much I can do about that, but food for thought on the next build. So the idea of this is to get it to like a mushroom, taper the hole out when you drill it with a taper like this. So as you peen down on this, the head of it becomes like a mushroom, and then the shaft of the brass pin swells. So as it's swelling, it's sort of like fitting to that mushroom of the tapered hole. You don't taper all the way down, you only taper down a few mil apparently. So as it mushrooms out, fills the taper, and then sand the top off. I've had to redo this one. This was the first one I'd done because my taper wasn't long enough. So this one I took it down a little bit deeper. So I'll just carry on for a couple of more minutes, and then see if a couple of seconds, and then I'll show you where we're at. So I get the other part of it lined on the anvil, and then just peen round in a circle. Flip them over. And then peen the other side. So I want to try and get this as flat as I can, hopefully, so then it swells in the middle and fills that taper. Then hopefully you won't be able to see where it was peened, because when I done my first one, when I polished it up, I think I removed too much brass, and when I polished it you could see the peen hole. Then obviously while I was breaking it in last night on the walk and talk, there was some oil coming up through the peen, so that indicated that the chamfer and the piece of brass that went in didn't fit that chamfer wall, so oil was coming out through it. Just a slight little bit of oil in it for the mechanism, that's all you need. And you'll see there, hopefully you'll see there where just needs a little bit more peening on that side there. I'm not sure if the camera's going to pick that up, but he's just not there at the moment. So I want to get all sides around the whole circumference of it. I want it all nice and neat and touching. So there we go, and that's this little shim here is to allow me, so I don't peen it closed and then it's hard to open and shut. So that's just like a little shim, and then I'll pull that out once I've done my final peening and then grind it over. But yeah, interesting. Okay guys, so we have the finished product from a slip joint build I've been doing from this book by Steve Culver, Slip Joint Folder Design and Building. I think it cost probably around about 9 to 10 quid, something like that. So this is the actual slip joint. Let's get him open. I took him to work this week to open some cement bags render bags, plaster bags, and cut some reinforcement fibre mesh. Yeah, it held up well. I was pleased with it. So let's talk about the characteristics of the knife. So the handle material is deer antler, and we got some brass balsa and some brass rears. We got some brass pins which I had to peen over, and the peening was done here in the centre of this one, and obviously this one which you can see. My first time in peening, which I had to redo because I didn't get it right. But on the second time round we managed it. The steel is SF100. This is a stainless steel. It's 2.5mm thick, and it has a blade cutting edge of around about 68 to 70mm. So this is a UK legal carry. If you're out at work, camping, away for the weekend, and you have purpose for use, you are quite legally to carry this in the UK. That doesn't mean to say if you've got it in your pocket and you pop to the shop to pick up something, then that's not legal. Now, the slip joint, it's not a locking blade. That's the first thing, let's clear that up. It's not a locking blade, it's what we call a slip joint. So you put pressure on it, and obviously it's just going to fold. And what we've got is the walk and torque, which is the back of the spring on the underside and this part of the spring. So if it's to close, it's going to stop, and that's called a half stop. So obviously if you don't cut your fingers and stuff. And obviously there's in the closed position. Now the mechanics, let's say, in this is getting this half stop and open and closed with the spine flush with the handle. So we go in the half stop, you'll see the spine isn't raised, and in the closed position the spine isn't raised. I've really enjoyed this build. It's been really interesting and detailed. So the pivot point in the centre of the tang, you have to get the dimensions and the correct measurements for this to come round and stop. This has to be 90 degrees from the spring. The blade itself is set out to a 60 Rockwell, which was heat treated by myself. The spring was heat treated by myself, but to a different Rockwell to allow it to flex, so we get that nice defined click, as I said before, the walk and talk. So there you go. I'm well pleased with it. Wink wink to those at Raven Roofing. So yeah, it's a great little knife. So if you like what you see, hit the notification and the subscribe button, and you might see some more videos of me building these knives. And for those who I was talking to last week, I'm well happy with it.